Okay, so welcome to part 2, where we're creating the little bulb character thing. You can just see that here. This is what we're aiming to do. The next bit I think we'll do is probably this little base here. So hopefully you've kind of kept up with me and you're where I am. Otherwise it might get a bit confusing for you. And you will need a bulb. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is a bit of tidying up. So let's just get rid of Infidio for the moment, and I'm going to grab all of the parts and press Alt-G to put them in a null and call that null bulb. There we go. Let's just group them all together just to keep things tidy. I want to create that cylinder, so the way I think I'm going to do this is I am going to just start off with a cylinder. Okay, and I just want to get it to about the right size. Do you know what? No, sorry. I'm not going to do it with a cylinder. I'm going to do it with the Nurbs again, just like before. So, right, circle. You will see exactly why. Change the plane to XZ. Let's just go into this view just so we can see that it's about the right place. Yep, that's fine. Bring the size in just a little. This is going to be the outside. Is it going to be the outside? Yeah, this is. So we'll put this to the bottom. Here we go. Okay, so this is going to be here, and this is the bottom, which is going to be something like that. There we go. Put this inside a Nurbs. Create a circle. We're going up this time, so we're going to move them above it this time. And I'm going to move up to about there. Drag that out, something like that. That's going to be the bottom. I might even do this in 2 halves as well, actually, just to make things a bit easier. So we'll keep that just like that for the moment. We'll maybe make one more at the bottom. Pull that down just a touch. Shrink that in. I'm going to create another one, because this is actually going to be where our cable entry is sitting. So if we shrink this one in a bit, then create another one and move that up. There we go. Right, okay, so we've created a bit of a recess, but it's too much, so we'll grab both of those and shrink those down. If we zoom in, we can kind of see what's happening here. Right, we've got a bit too much curving going on, so let me just undo, go back a few. Okay, so this one, we can pull that in. We actually go to about there and then create another one. Pull that one in, that should keep it, yeah, give it a bit of an edge. Okay, then we'll create another one. This one, if we move up, see it curves it in. Now if we want that, that's great. And I think, you know what, I'll actually keep that. There we go. So that's fine. I'm just going to move the Nurbs down just a little bit, just so that it disappears off into nothing in there. Cool. These circles here are a little bit strange though, so let me just oops. Just try and get those sitting about right. There we go. That will do that. Okay. So I'm going to grab the top circle and make a copy of that and create another Nurbs. There we go. And that top circle I'm just going to make a touch bigger just so it sits with a lip, and create another one above. Move it up. There we go. Cool. Now I wonder if that's actually, if I'm going to just make those two a little bit bigger. Not quite that big. There we go. Something like that. Cool. And I'm just going to hide the bulb a minute by Alt-clicking onto there. That top circle I'm going to create a copy of and shrink that in. Something like that. And then I'm going to make another copy and move it down. Right, now that's too much of a curve. I don't want that curve to be so much, so I'm going to make a second copy and move that down, and then that gives us a much more solid curve. Right, okay. Now if we have a look at that, yeah, that's quite a good shape. So let's just have a look at circle 2 and 3. Just bring them in just a little bit, and then that'll just create that slight in curve there. And if we turn the bulb back on, yeah, that's sitting inside there, which is what I want. So that's great. Okay, so let's scoop those two up and Alt G, put them into a null, and we'll call this socket. So we've made our socket. Let's see. So we want to have a look at the like the arm parts. Where's my picture? So we've got these arms. They're little nuts on these bolts here. So nuts on either end, and then there's just this kind of tubing to create the joints. So we need to create these. Now, just for scaling purposes, I'm actually going to build them separately, but just so I get an idea of the size, I'm going to create a cylinder, move that out so I can see it. Let's just move this down. Okay. So the kind of length I want to be looking at, cylinder height, it's probably, would we say something like that? So maybe 40. It's probably a bit too fat, so 35. Oops, 35. I don't know what this number is. It's not all in the thing. There we go. Oh, 339. So maybe make it 320. So maybe go something like that. Cool. Positionally, it's about going to be sitting about there. Okay, so that's our reference. So I'm going to make a copy of that and go File, New. Right, there we go. And there's our cylinder. And just for the sake of this, I'm going to center this out. If you can either zero all of these out, or if you have the PSR button, just do that. If you haven't got the PSR button, right click, do Customize Palettes. In here, type PSR, and then just drag that onto your, drag Reset PSR onto your thing, and that basically resets the position, scale, and rotation for you, right to the center. Okay, so this cylinder I want to make a copy of, and I'm going to go to Basic and turn on X-ray. This one I'm going to make shorter. So, because what I'm looking for is something like that, and then I'm going to make it editable, and I'm going to grab with the polygon tool the top, and hold down Shift and grab the bottom. There we go. And I'm going to press I just to move in a bit, and then D, and click and drag. There we go. So that's created my, oh shoot, that's created my shape there. So we can get rid of that other cylinder now. Just going to go to Display, turn on Grid Shading and Lines. So now we can at least see what we're doing a bit. I want to create a helix. Put this into the right plane. I'm going to put the helix into a symmetry object just to save me having to do this more than once. So symmetry for the helix, there we go. And then we move the helix, we change the symmetry object so that it's going X and Y, I believe. Then move the helix, no, that was wrong. It must have been ZY? Was that what it was already on? Nope, I'll get this. XZ, that's the one. There we go. Cool. And then we can put the start of the helix there, and set the helix height so it finishes around the right place. Shrink that one in, shrink the end one in. Okay, and we'll give this a few more twists, something like that. Okay. And we need to put the helix into a Sweepnurb, so hold down Alt, Sweepnurbs, and we want something like, I don't know, 4-side, and just dump that into the Sweepnurbs. Now obviously it's far too big, so we shrink that right down, maybe 2 and 2 or something for now. so we can see what's going on. Cool. Okay, so maybe not 10. 4. 4 and 4. Helix. We want to put the start radius in and the end radius in. Okay. Our Sweepnurbs, we want to make it so it doesn't bank. I think that's the important one for now. Our 4 sides, we can probably make these a touch bigger like that. There we go. And our Helix, I reckon, give that a few more angles. Possibly move it down a touch. There we go. I wonder if the Helix maybe can come in a little bit more. 31, 31. Yeah. Cool. Okay, if we zoom out, that gives us our bit, our bolt. We now want to create the nut for that. So our nut is going to be an N side, but on the XZ axis. We need to create something here. We need to create a circle. Put that onto the XZ axis. Now I've just moved these so they're not together. So if I just put that circle on the inside and then hit our PSR button, that'll center that out for me. There we go. And what we need to do is connect these two objects together. So we use a connect on the N side and dump the circle in with it. The circle will make a bit smaller, about the size of the nut, the bolt. The N side the same, we'll make that a bit smaller. And now we'll put that connect object into an extrude. Right, so the movement by default is going off to the side. We don't want that, we want that to come up. So something like that. Let's just come up and have a look. So I'd say the circle's a little bit too big, so we can just shrink that down. Cool, okay. And our extrude nurb, I want to put some caps on that, so we're going to set that to fillet cap, put constrain on, nowhere near that much, just 1, and maybe 3 edges, and that's just, again, that's just something to catch the specular. Okay, so with that extrude nurb, we can actually, if we go to our Sweepnurbs, which is our thread, put that into a group, and we can actually put that nut into there as well, and you'll see that that puts a nut the other side. So let's just name this nut thread, just so that we know what we're doing, and bolt. Okay. And then the nut we could just move down a bit. Oops. Alright, so that's looking cool. That's kind of what we want. I think that maybe that nut's just a touch big. So let's just grab the whole thing and just shrink it down just a little. Doesn't matter if it's intersecting a bit. For our purposes, that's fine. I think our caps have just gone a bit skew if they're... Set them back to 1. Cool. Okay, so that's our bolt done. So we will put all of that into one group and call it bolt, whatever. Yep, cool. Bring that, make a copy of that, Control C, and go back to our bulb. Paste that into there. Oh, I've just pasted the cylinder. Let's just delete those a minute. Go back, grab our bolt, Control C. There we go. Cool. Right. That's one. What we want to do is create a second one. Let's create a symmetry object. Bung our bolts in there. Set the symmetry object to not XZ. What's it going to be? I thought that was right actually. Oh, it was right. So XY, there we go. I'm sure it didn't do that for me just then. Okay, and let's move the bolt up a bit. I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll position the anchor point of the bolt. If we click here onto the axis tool and the object mode, we can just move that up to the top back end of the bolt and then come out of that, and that way if we rotate it now, we'll be rotating it from there. Cool, okay. So let's put that bolt into a group, which we'll call arms, and we'll make a copy of that. We can maybe move this one out a little, something like that. Same thing for this. What's going on here? Cool, okay. Next, I want to probably, let's have a quick look. We'll probably make the legs next. Yeah, let's do the legs. So we're using very similar tic-tacs. In fact, I'm just going to duplicate the first bolt. Let's have that. And I'm going to PSR that so it goes back to the middle. And move that out to about where it should be. I'm not going to do these ones in the symmetry object because I want the legs sitting at different positions. So just for now, I'm just going to have him standing. So we'll create that bolt. We'll make a copy and we'll put another one down there, something like that. We need to get him a little leg thing in there, but we'll do all of that when he's sitting on the bike, I think. Okay, so make a copy and move them over to there. So we'll group those two and we'll call them his right leg. And we'll do those ones and call them his left leg. Call that one his arms. Okay. We need to create some nuts for his hands. So what we'll do is we'll go into the bolt, we'll just grab one of the nuts, pull that out, hold down control. We'll just rotate this out, something like that. Perhaps make it a bit bigger. Position this inside there, something like that. Okay, it's maybe a bit too big. Shrink it down a little bit. Okay, and we'll dump that into the symmetry null. There we go, and it puts it on the other side. Okay, so right, so the way the feet are working is he's got little nuts and then onto them. Right, okay. So we'll have another copy of that nut there. I'm going to move them down to here. Let's get in and have a look. Right, rotate that round. Make a copy, drag it down, rotate it back. Actually, let's zero out the rotation, and that should put it nice and straight for us. And we want this one to be a bit bigger. something like that, and I'm going to just rotate that so that that bit is square on, because what it then has is these little rods coming out. So I did this, I just created a cylinder. Let's zero it out to that there so that we can see it. Rotate you. Just want to make this quite thin. Okay, and I'm going to put him into a cloner. So MoGraph, hold Alt, put it into a cloner. We don't want it going off in that direction. We want it to go off in that direction. So we'll have 4 of those. Something like that. Slightly funny angle, so let's just adjust that ever so slightly. There we go. And I'm also going to grab that nut, make a copy, put that into a group, Alt G, put the copy of the nut into there, shrink the nut right down. And put one. Something like that, and then maybe have another one at the back here. Cool. Okay, so that's a little bit of detail. Go into that cloner. I'm just going to set not that rotation, not that rotation, it's not that rotation either. Or that one. There is, that's the one I was looking for. So rotation H. I'm just going to do that just a little bit, just so they're all sitting at slightly different angles. Okay, so we'll call this one right foot. Make a copy, paste. Oh, hang on. That was all of that, wasn't it? So I want to group all of that together. Group, right foot. Copy. Call it left foot. And that's going over there. Okay. Right, so where are we at? I do think I'm going to just create the joints, which I seem to have done there unwittingly. How have I done that? That looks quite cool actually, but that's not the idea. Arms. Okay. I'm not quite sure what I'm missing here. Why that was... Oh, of course, because the bolts, the nut for the hands in the symmetry, I need to take that out. It's not supposed to be in there. There we go. Ah, right. Okay. So in case you missed what was actually happening just then, I'd put this nut in the symmetry, which was for these bolts, these two on either end. So therefore it was putting that onto either end as well. That didn't want to be in that symmetry. That needed to be in this symmetry for the arms. So it needs to be on the other side of that. There, and that gets rid of that. Okay, so what I was going to do was create a point from there to there. So let's use a spline, something like a beezer. Now this, I'm sure there's a better way of doing this. I just don't know what it is. So I'm just going to click there. See, as you can see, it's nowhere near where I wanted to click. I'm also going to click there. That's also nowhere near where I wanted to click. That can't be the right way to do it. So I'm going to move it where I think I'm trying to move it to. It's a little bit trial and error here, really, I'm afraid, because yeah, look, I'm nowhere near it. Oh, that's the problem with working in 3D space. Am I anywhere near that now? Nope. Straight past. I think I am now. Right, cool. So that's that one. I'm so sorry, I can't tell you the proper way of doing this. It probably is a way of centering it to those 2 points. But I didn't do that last time. And I don't really want to try and sit and figure it out in front of you, because you'll get really bored. So it's easier for me just to fumble around in the dark until it's kind of roughly in the right place. There we go. Cool. Alright, and then I'm going to click in the middle here and do create point. Click it there. And I'm just going to move just this one out a little bit. I think I can give it some interpolation somehow. So soft, boom, there we go. And we can give it a bit of a curve. Maybe move that one in a little bit. Okay, cool. Oh man, and then I'm going to drop that into a Sweepnurbs and create a circle and dump that in as well. Shrink that circle down. There we go. And just now I just need to tweak those points a little bit. If we hover around there, we've got the spine selected. We should be able to grab that point. There it is. Grab that one. Just move that in a little bit. There we go. That circle probably wants to be just a touch bigger now. Okay. Cool. And then we can call that joint, and we can dump that into our symmetry for the arms there. And I'll put that on the other side as well. It kind of looks like he's got slightly broken arms, but I'm sure he'll be alright. Let me just grab his arms. I need to relax him a little bit. He's making me feel tense. There we go. Okay. So now I need to do the same sort of things for his legs. That'll probably be a little bit easier if I go to this view here. And create a Bezier, something like that. You know what, undo that. This middle one I'm just going to drag out a little bit so I've got a bit of a curve on it should I want to put one on. There we go, right, and then we'll go back. And that's actually got that one in the right place. Check that out. So we might as well do the other one while we're here. So create a new Bezier. Boom, boom, boom. Cool, that's done that one in the right place as well. So same old thing, Sweepnurbs, Sweepnurbs, create a circle, dump it in, shrink it down. Although that circle's on the very wrong plane in there, look. Yeah, that's not right. So circle, XY, nope, ZY, nope. That's the one. XY. I'm sure that's what that was already on. There's some things here winding me up tonight. I'm sure there is. Right. Okay. So we'll just shrink that in, and we'll do the same with the other one. There we go. Okay. So now we'll texture. Let's do a cable coming out of him. This is going to be tricky. I'll tell you what. If judging from what happened a moment ago, if I do the Bezier on this view here, and I actually click there, and then come out of there like that, go like that, something like that along the floor, when I come out, I can actually just grab this bottom one, that's already coming over this way. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what I wanted to happen. Something like that. Cool, okay. And same old thing. We want to put that into a sweep. Grab a circle, put that in there. Oh dear. Oh, that looks painful. I will shrink that right down. We've got that same thing that we had earlier as well, where we can actually reduce or increase the angle of our circle there, just so that it's not so much going on. Okay, so now that we've got the outline of our character, we just want to make some textures up for him, just because it's looking rather ugly. And as always, when I'm doing textures, I'm just going to my content browser, and I'm going to just put in video into the scene. I'll have to, because I deleted it earlier for some reason, I will have to do some changes here. Now, one thing I've just noticed is, because InVideo is designed for sort of your typical size thing, now I've done that bulb actually really rather large. So I'm going to take a bit of a gamble. I find the floor somewhere. Obviously I can move everything around in InVideo, but I'm going to grab all of my stuff like so and press T and just see if I can just shrink it all down a bit. There we go. I just don't want it too big. So let's put him roughly on the floor. And video, I'm going to change. Oops, I'm going to change so it's white. My global reflection when dealing with glass is much nicer to use Studio 2 for those extra windows, and also because I'm dealing with glass, go into the BG and just put on Seen by Rays. There we go. Right, okay, so let's just rotate the lighting rig as well, just so that it's, there we go, round a bit more. Okay, so we need to lower in video just a touch, like that. We've still got all our settings from before, so that's fine. We can get an idea of kind of how he's looking. Quite sad, because I think he feels a bit naked. He needs some more silveriness. So, because I deleted InVideo earlier and I didn't delete the textures, I see how I've got all these extra textures. If you want to remove them, just go remove unused textures, and it just tidies that up a little bit. Okay, so we want to create a nice shiny chrome texture for all of the bolts and everything. So reflection right up there, and we'll give it a Fresnel and turn that right down. So just something like that. Don't really need a specular on it. Bump, I think perhaps I'm going to put a slight, like tiny Luca set down to about 5, and the bump set to like about 3. So it's not really doing much, but it's just something. And I'm going to put that on basically the legs and the feet. Those are the joints. I didn't name them. Oh dear. I think that's the cable, isn't it? Yeah, so we'll call that cable. Oh, there's a capital A in there. I don't want to shout about the A. Sweepnurbs, this one is, yep, so those are the 2 leg joints. Leg joint. Okay, and the arms, I think, yeah, apart from the joint, all of these are going to be this silver. Okay, we've got a bolt there, so we'll do the same for that. Okay. The socket, we've got 2 parts to the socket. We've got the lower part here, which I did think I did make silver. And then this bit I just want to be sort of plastic white, so we'll go color white, I'm just going to put an absolute touch of luminance in there, just so it makes the white shine out. So only about 20. Reflection with a Fresnel, and I'm going to just pull those both back to about halfway, something like that, and I'm going to kill that specular. Do you know what, I'm going to give that a tiny bit more luminance, just so that white really glows out. And we're going to put that around the middle one there. Cool. Wondering, right leg, I missed it, look, there we go, that's that one. The cable I think is similar to that last one, but it's a little bit more matte. So let's just go grey, let's go just off-white, and we'll put a reflection on it, but literally just like a tiny weeny bit, something like that, and that can be our cable. The joints, how did I do those? It was, I think I made a copy of my chrome, and then how did I do it? In the color, I think I did a texture gradient. Hold down Control and you can make a copy of the black, and then I think I did something like this. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then turn the reflection down a bit. I won't do anything. I don't want it to be too, yeah, so maybe it was something like that, and then put that onto the joints, I think, possibly, we'll see. Joint, 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 there. Let's just have a quick look. It's kind of difficult to see. I think my studio's a little bit bright again. I think in the feet we want to put that and that down a little. Just go into video, just drop all the lights down just a touch. This isn't so important, this is just so that we can make sure it's looking alright. Again, we'll probably do some tweaking when it comes to the final model. Yeah, he's looking pretty cool. Yeah, once the parsers have been through a few times, he starts to look pretty cool. He might be a touch too reflective, possibly. Again, though, that might be something we need to dial down. Because yeah, in this one I've done it. He's kind of reflective. He's a lot more reflective in this new version. So I think perhaps pull some of this reflection out. Maybe get a bit more of this bump in there. And have a look. Not convinced by that at all. That looks pretty ugly. Let's just have a look at it up close. Yeah, that's that bump. There's too much going on. Let's just turn that bump off a moment. I think perhaps with a few parsers that'll sort itself out. But like I say, we do a bit more tweaking once we've built all the bike and everything. But I think that we'll leave it there for this part. Been going a little while on this bit, but we've got our basic shape. We've got our little man. Let's just zoom out a little bit, and we'll leave that. We'll leave that there. We'll just leave that sitting, rendering, so we can have a look. Yeah, so we've got our little man. What we need to do next is, in the next one, we will just have a look at some of these important points. Like, I can't, for some reason, I'm not seeing much difference between that and that. So that plastic's not really coming through, very plasticky at the moment. The cable is a bit too grey. I'm not convinced by it, whereas this cable came out quite well. And also we've got to build the bike and then position him onto it. So that's kind of what we'll do next. The bike's not too tricky, but it's all the little parts to it. There's lots of little shapes we need to put together, along with those little cogs and everything. So yeah, okay, yeah, he's coming together. It's not too bad. So yeah, so that's part 2, and we'll see you, or I'll see you in part 3, which will be up soon. Okay, cheers, goodbye.